Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to the next edition of A's Player Profile and Predictions. I'm your host, Joe Grotto, and today we are talking about the next man up in the A's 2025 starting rotation, none other than the pride of Los Hidalgos in the Dominican Republic, number 45, Osvaldo Bido. He is slotted to be the fourth man in the five-man rotation for the 2025 season. The 29-year-old has previously played for the Pittsburgh Pirates prior to his arrival in the green and gold with the Athletics. He originally signed with the Pirates back in 2017 as an international free agent, working his way through their system. 2023 was the year of his opportunity, and that was the year he got his first taste of big league action. He was promoted, actually, and added to the 40-man rotation on my birthday, June 14th in 2023, where he had a very impressive showing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He went 4 innings. He only allowed 1 run and struck out 6. And he started that game in an eventual 10-6 loss to the Cubs in Wrigley that year. So that must have been a pretty cool experience for Bido to make his debut in such a historic ballpark. Definitely turned some heads with the 6 strikeouts for sure. But, just with any young pitcher, he went through his struggles with getting his first go-around in the big leagues. He got hit around pretty good, but it was definitely good experience for him to learn from and to shape himself as a pitcher with all of his effective pitches, his pitch mix, and just learn his craft a little bit better and just gain that experience just like every other young successful pitcher does in the long run for sure. But he, in 2023, went on to have a 2-5 win-loss record with a 5.86 ERA. He appeared in 16 games, started 9 of them, and he had 48 strikeouts in 50 2/3 innings pitched. So he definitely served as that swingman, spending some time in the rotation and other times coming out of the bullpen. That seems to have been his role at the big leagues and could seem to continue at his next destination, because following a few weeks after the 2023 World Series, the A's took a chance after the Pirates non-tendered Bido in the offseason, and the A's scooped up a cost-effective arm because the A's have been desperate for arms for years and to add to their starting pitching depth. So they figured, why not bring in this guy at league minimum at $740K, just see what he can do. And he seemed to really level up ever since he's put on the A's hat. Maybe that's just the chip on his shoulder for how things finished in Pittsburgh, wants to prove that he does belong. Whatever the case is, he really went into a different stratosphere. He ended up being one of the most reliable arms on this team during the 2024 season, and he continued to serve that swingman role. He did make starts, but he also came out of the bullpen too as well. And you know what's crazy? After looking at his baseball reference page on what his career outlook has looked so far, because I know at the big league level, it's only been the 2023 and 2024 season, he appeared in the same exact amount of games, and he made the same exact amount of starts. 16 games, 9 games started. So this is a really good side-by-side comparison to look at when you're seeing if a guy's progressing or not, especially if the obviously the environment's different because you go from the National League to the American League, which one you would think would be a little bit harder for a pitcher. The American League's always just been known as a more offensive league, but now you're in a more pitcher-friendly ballpark, so maybe he pitched to that more, and maybe just something clicked with his stuff, because he does have a great arsenal. We'll get into that in a little bit. But in 2024, he, like I said, 16 games, 9 games started, same amount as 2023. He pitched 63 1/3 innings. He had a 5-3 win-loss record with a 3.41 earned run average, and he had 63 strikeouts, so 1-for-1 basically. He had a 1.09 WHIP and a 1.16 ERA plus. So he definitely was a positive for the A's pitching rotation and the bullpen too. Definitely served his purpose, got 63 quality innings out of him, and really looking to see how he bounces off of that headed here into the 2025 season. And with that, what should we expect from him? He rated, and after my research, he rated out very well on Baseball Savant. Like, I know he was pretty reliable and pretty consistent last year. It was amazing. I didn't realize he was in such elite stratospheres in some of these metrics, and we'll get to that here shortly. But before we do, just want to let you know of what his pitch mix is. He does throw 5 different pitches. He relies heavily on his four-seam fastball. He threw that 40.1% of the time. And all these percentages are what he has thrown during the 2024 season amongst his 1,055 pitches. And then he also has a slider that he threw 21.1% of the time, a changeup at 15.3% of the time, 14.3% was the cutter that he threw, and his fifth pitch, which he threw the least, was the sinker at 9.2%. So his fastball, that's his bread and butter. That's how the rest of his arsenal works. I feel like his sinker works really well off his fastball, just moving that on two different planes in his case. But his fastball averaged 94.9% in 2024. I think there's a little more in there, but that's still plenty enough, especially with how everything mixes. And let me tell you how this is plenty enough, because listen to these metrics I'm about to tell you. Some of these are elite. And this are all in the percentiles of all of Major League Baseball during the 2024 season. And these are as follows. His expected earned run average was 2.72, which was in the 94th percentile. Expected opponent's batting average, so what was expected of his opponents to hit against them, was a 181 batting average, which is the 98th percentile. Average exit velocity against, 85.6. 99. He was in the 99th percentile there. Barrel percentage, he only allowed 4.3% barrels. That was 93%. And his hard hit percentage was, I'm assuming, the best in baseball. It was only a 27% of his contact was hard hit, which rated out as a 100th percentile. He was the top echelon in that category. Definitely strong potential here to solidify as a starting pitcher. Like I mentioned, he has been that swingman in his short major league career so far. I think this is the year that he can really cement himself as a starting pitcher. And I do think this is the next hidden gem. I just don't think he's talked about enough. I think he's very underrated, and I think he's in a place that really is going to develop that arm well. I do think the A's just needed to get the guys in the building and get their guys developed through the system, a combination of the two. But picking up Bido here at the end of 2020 or in the 2023 offseason, heading into 2024 at league minimum, that's going to look like such a steal. I'm telling you. And I know it was just taking a flyer and taking a chance, but whoever was on that in baseball operations really took a high-quality chance. He is going to deepen this rotation. And if for some reason they keep him in that swingman role, especially when some of their arms like Luis Medina and Ken Waldichuk come back, if they mix in and get some starts, and Bido, they want to help lengthen the bullpen a little bit, like Mitch Spence is going to be doing to kick off the year, so be it. But that's what happens when you have depth. You can have guys that have succeeded and been able to help the team in multiple roles. That's how teams are successful. And if you have a guy, Bido, who I think is really talented with his 5-pitch mix, I think he's best served in the rotation, but I think having that option can't hurt, especially in the postseason, right? Because if this team makes it to the postseason, and we'll see how things shape out. But hypothetically, you're usually going with your top 3 arms, and then your 4 and 5 are swingman guys. So it's good you have a guy like Bido that already has experience in that. And if the A's are fortunate enough to be in a spot where they win a wild card, or hey, even win the division, you're going to have a guy ready, maybe not with postseason experience, but at least serving that role, which I think is important, because when some starters get forced into that role, and you can see they're just very uncomfortable, not as effective. So I do think that's another positive in Bido's belt here. He's got stuff plus, weapons galore. I'm excited to see what 2025 looks like, because I think he is going to be an absolute stud for sure. So with that, we are going to let you know of what Fangraphs is thinking about Osvaldo Bido's season for the season. They think he's going to continue to be a swingman at a pretty high level. They think he's going to appear in 49 games, start 16 of them with a 7-7 record, with a 4.38 ERA, throw 119 innings, strike out 109 batters. So that part at the end I think is pretty good. ERA, I think that could be about right. I think it could be a little bit lower, but I think that's fair. We're going to set the over-under at the game started at 16, because I do think he's going to pitch better than that. And I know there's a lot of factors that go into these projections, but I know, again, they're not going to be in the Coliseum, so those numbers are going to inflate a little bit. I just think he's going to be better than he was in 2024. I think another year of development. a lot of positive tape for him to look back on and build on for this year. I think he's feeling good and confident, especially being one of the more reliable arms on this staff this past season. So him being able to slot in as a 4, I think he could be an elite 4, and I think he's really being slept on. And I'd love to do the ERA, but we've done that already a couple times. So we are going to set the over-under a game started at 16, and I am hammering the over. And I think I feel most confident about this one because I'm projecting him to have 26 or 27 starts. I do really think that this is his year. He's going to cement himself as a quality starting pitcher and that he belongs. And like I said, I do think he is good for postseason time, especially if he's going to be in that 4 role to have that swingman experience so that he'll slide into a bullpen role maybe in the postseason if the A's are in that dance when we're all said and done here. But hammer that over. I believe in him. Obviously this is just, he's relatively healthy, so it's certainly not a concern there. But as long as health is good, I think he's going to be making starts every 5th day regularly. I'd be very surprised. Like, unless he gets off to a really poor start, gets a rough patch, or just loses confidence, which I don't see happening, he's going to solidify himself. So I would say circle Osvaldo Bido as someone to watch this year, as someone that may surprise you, because I think he's going to bring more to the table than people think. All right. Before we get out of here, we're just going to thank our partner once again because we are so grateful that we had the opportunity to experience City Limitless in Mesa and be able to watch the A's get warmed up for the 2025 season during A's spring training practices, as well as getting to sit in Visit Mesa's seat at Hohokam Stadium right behind home plate as we watch Jeffrey Springs kick off the A's home opener against the Colorado Rockies. That was an amazing experience. Can't thank them enough, so we want to pay our tribute by shouting them out. Welcome to Mesa, Arizona, a gateway city to one of the most dynamic regions in the country, with countless places for new discoveries, competitive sports, Wild West adventures, and farm-to-table cuisine. Mesa is a city that knows no bounds. From urban to rural, mountain peak to desert floor, arts and culture to wildlife and nightlife. Each and every guest is given unparalleled access to one of the richest arrays of visitor offerings in the country. A geographic wonderland, Mesa is close to the Tonto National Forest and iconic Superstition Mountains, but far enough to experience the wide-open and true Arizona vacation. From here, all things are possible, leaving you breathless and sure to show you why we are City Limitless. So if you're ever thinking about taking a trip down to Mesa, whether it's to catch the A's during their spring training season, if you're a fan of arts and culture, you'll be surrounded by it all up and down Main Street. They have so many different attractions there. If you're just looking to check out some cool local breweries, if you're looking to have a nature trip with some cool hiking, that's not far away at all. Like, we went to Usery Mountain Regional Park, which was an amazing experience, being able to be surrounded by all the cacti in the wild, which was very cool. If you're looking for a trip down to Mesa, be sure to check out Visit Mesa. You can check out their website, www.visitmesa.com. They'll be able to put together an itinerary for you for all of the hot spots to check out to make sure you have an unforgettable experience while you are in Mesa. There is also a spring training guide on their website. It's right on their homepage. So if you want to download that and be able to have a good guide to be prepared for the next time that, if you're getting down there toward the end of their spring training now, because we are getting so close to opening day, or if you're looking to plan ahead for a 2026 spring training, it's always good to plan ahead and start now. They'll help you out. If you're down there in the area, stop on in to One North McDonald. They're located on the 2nd floor. They're great people in there, and they'll be sure to make sure you have the adventure of a lifetime. So visit Mesa. Love shouting them out. Can't thank them enough. All right, and with that is the conclusion of another A's player profile and prediction. Again, we talked all about number 45 right-handed pitcher Osvaldo Bido. I do think he is the one that has immense potential, and I'm very excited to see what the 29-year-old does this year, because I think he's really going to cement himself as a starter, and can't wait to see that 5-pitch mix really make some hitters scratch their heads, because I do think the sky's the limit for him. When we set that over-under, game started, remember, mark that down. I do think he's going to hammer the over. I think 16 games started, that's not nearly enough for him. Okay. And be sure to listen to all of our podcast episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and so many more global platforms. Wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, we are probably there. And on our social medias, you can follow us on our Instagram at A's Day Baseball Podcast, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at A's Day Baseball, our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast, and for all of you fans that have been there from the start and the ones that are to come, be sure to make it official and be a subscriber on our Patreon site, patreon.com/A's Day. For just $2 a month, you'll be entered to win monthly A's Day t-shirt giveaways, A's autographed memorabilia, A's tickets, and so much more as we grow this platform together. That's all for this edition of A's Player Profile and Prediction. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Thank you for spending part of your day listening to these episodes. We are so close to opening day. We can almost taste the return of baseball. Holy Toledo.